We're glad that you are with us this morning for our Sunday morning Bible class, and you're thinking this is the wrong Faughn. Jim Faughn's been standing up here for several weeks now, even though we are sort of in an odd time. Last Sunday, of course, was the last Sunday of November, and this Sunday, the first Sunday of December, so we are beginning a quarter change. It's a new quarter for our Bible school program. Lord willing, we'll be able to meet back together in person to continue these studies. But I hope you enjoyed last quarter when Dad was teaching on the home. And as he mentioned several times, that class originally was supposed to be just on the home specifically, but family. And I hope that all of us gained some things from that study. All of our Bible classes that are taught in this room, and of course, all of our sermons are archived on the church Facebook page and YouTube channel. So maybe you missed one of those classes, or maybe you just jumped in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe your congregation has been shut down too, and it's gone the last couple of weeks. You might go back and hear all of the classes. They should all be there. We try to keep them in playlists by class. I think that was fully archived in that way, so you may want to go back and review those and be encouraged in that way. We're beginning a study this morning in this quarter that is odd for a couple of reasons. One is it's the second time we've started this study. Let me kind of give a history of where this class came from. About a year and a half ago or so, the elders asked the congregation for input on some ideas just for various things, and one of those was maybe some things that they'd like to see taught, the congregation would like to see taught in Bible classes, either adult classes or teenage classes, and scheduled for on down the line somewhere. And as the central members hopefully know, the elders set a curriculum for, I think it was about 2.5 or 3 years out. And then in March, of course, everything kind of got blown up. And so that curriculum is still sort of in place. It's being shifted around and moved, and like everything else seems to be. This class was one that was brought up in those surveys. At least one person, I don't remember how many, said they would like a class on things like addiction or addiction behavior. And at least one person, again, I think it was more than one, suggested they'd like a class on the Christian and social media, or the Christian and just their online life, if you want to think of it that way. And in a lot of conversations, the thought was those are wonderful suggestions. There's a lot of biblical concepts. But to try to stretch each one of those into a full quarter might have led to a class that's very tedious, very technical, and we didn't want to go there. And so the elders asked me if I would kind of combine those two and kind of do 2 mini quarters. That's kind of the way we branded it way back when we first started this class in March, was kind of 2 mini quarters. Well, we did a grand total of 2 Sundays, and then we had to shut down for the first time. And by the time we started having Bible class at the time, so this class had basically just been blown off the map as far as the curriculum goes. But then when we had to, I hate to use the word shut down, that's kind of what it is, go to online only again, the elders asked if I would restart that class, or really start over that class, and teach it in this setting. And so that's what we're going to be doing this quarter. If you were in the first iteration of this class, the first couple of lessons are going to sound really familiar. I'm sure you memorized everything. I'm sure you're just going to sit there and sleep for the next 40 minutes because you know everything that we said back in March. But we are just going to kind of review those first couple of lessons and then move on to the new material we never got to. But I want us to begin this morning as we think about the concept of addictions. This is a Bible class, but I'll go ahead and tell you this morning's class is going to have less verses than most Bible classes might. And you're not going to find the word addiction in your Bible. It's just not there. This is a class where we're going to be looking very much for principles instead of necessarily the word addictions. But I want us to take a moment and talk about why this is an important study. And it's not just because, well, addictions are bad. I think that'd be the easy answer, and all of us would go, well, yeah, of course, we understand that. But is it really all that widespread? You know, we talk about, people out there addicted to this and that and the other thing, but is it really anything that's all that widespread? And getting ready, some websites I tried to find reputable ones, places like recovery centers and things like that are. One of the websites I looked at, I won't give the specific names, but one of them was a recovery website. I'll just put it that way. And they specialize in things like Alcohol, other drugs, nicotine. They say tobacco, or really more technically nicotine, is number one. And they claim over 40 million, this is in America, over 40 million Americans not just use those products, but are addicted to them. Second, they say, is alcohol. Now, I was interested. This number was actually less than I thought it would be, but they're considering only at the addiction level, not just at the use level, was 18 million are addicted to alcohol. Marijuana was next at 4.2 million. And of course, we see in our culture that being legalized all over the place, and many people agree with that, many people disagree with that, but those who disagree very often point to this. It is a very highly addictive substance. And so that number, we can't predict the future. We can almost say with certainty it will rise in the very near future if that keeps going. Fourth on our list is just the general, the general term they call painkillers. Just under 2 million people are addicted to those. And then it drops to ones that are less than 1 million, but still these are significant numbers. Cocaine is fifth. 821,000 Americans are addicted. That number was as of 2000, much more up to date than that, but that was the latest numbers they had. Heroin was 426,000. I never can pronounce this word correctly. Benzodiazepines. Is that it? Is that close? Just nod as if I have any idea what I'm talking about. These are things like Valium and Xanax, those sorts of things. Things that manage anxiety, that type of drug. 400,000 roughly. Stimulants, the other side of that, Adderall, Ritalin, those sorts of drugs. Also includes meth. 329 inhalants. People say they're addicted to inhalants, things like gasoline, the fumes of gasoline, aerosol, that sort of thing, was 140,000. And then number 10 was sedatives, sleeping pills, things to help attention, 78,000. Now that's just in that one realm, where you have that many people addicted to one or more of those things. How many are addicted to more than one makes the thing even more interesting. It's estimated, and this is a different recovery website, or I guess more technically help website, it's estimated that 21 million Americans have more than one addiction. Now think about the fact that 40 million are addicted to nicotine. Here's what's interesting about the statistic I just read to you. This website does not include nicotine as an addiction. So they claim that 21 million Americans are addicted to alcohol and something else, or some other combination of other drugs. But they also give the point that of those 21 million they estimate that have at least one addiction, only roughly 10% of them ever receive any type of treatment. Only 10% of those 21 million, roughly, and of course these all have to be estimates, ever receive any kind of treatment. Is it any big deal to us as a nation? Well, if all we're going to worry about is the economy, it would be. It's estimated that alcohol and drug addiction costs the U.S. economy over $600 billion every single year. But of course, us being Christians, we care more than about dollars and cents, I hope. We care more than just about the economy. Not just alcohol, but drug overdose deaths since 1990. Now, that's not a long time ago for people like me, but since 1990 have more than tripled in our nation.